Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to High School Hoops with your hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Stager.
All right, welcome to High School Hoops. Jake, how are you?
Yes, sir.
I need to be in Florida. Yeah. I'm just telling you. I had a bus trip with my coaches yesterday, and about halfway I'm going, I should be on a beach walking my dogs right now. Someday.
The winter, and when I'm looking out the window, and my mom is a lot older, so I had to go. I live in a condo right now, and we're on the verge of selling and getting a house again.
Oh, good, really?
Yeah. So that's exciting. Yeah, but she still owns her house, and she's in her mid 60s. And it's about taking care of your
what
your
area
family.
You looking? What area you looking?
Wherever the grass is greener, I guess.
So here's the bigger question. How long a commute?
I don't know.
How long a commute are you willing to make?
I don't know.
Oh, you might be willing to move.
Yeah.
Move. All right. Well, you heard it here first, people. You heard it here first.
No,
That's
but more importantly, we're talking about snow, and we have my mom has 11 inches of snow this morning, and I'm like, oh God. But winters have been a lot worse years ago in Wisconsin. This is the first time I've had to shovel like that in a long time.
I know.
And it was the light snow, which was really nice.
It was.
You
heard it here first. The scoop on Coach Stager. The scoop. I should have been in radio.
You should have. You got the perfect face for it. So.
Oh, my voice. Yeah, I have a face for radio. I definitely have a face for radio.
You always say that, though.
So I do always say that. All right, couple things. First of all, our sponsors. Yep. Teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. I'm switching up. I'm going to talk about Teach Hoops first today. The one-stop shop, everything that you need or want. So many new things going up. Anyway, office hours, one-on-one calls, PDFs, handouts, courses, you name it, we got it. Go over and check it out. Also, go over and check out Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market. Mention us, and you'll get 400.
So, can I ask you a question about that quick? So, I don't mean to make a plug. How many coaches do you work with on a given week through that program that you do?
So it depends. So I try to alternate office hours and one-on-one calls. So
okay,
I've done a couple. I would say on a monthly basis, 30 to 40 different coaches probably a month.
Okay.
I'm pretty scheduled this time of year. And off season, I'm not as scheduled.
Right.
I'm just more free. So office hours are, easier to get on my schedule than, so I think we have an office hour next week, I think. I have to look when our next office hours are. But anyway, so yeah, it just depends. But a lot, I had a coach on the other day and he goes, I love this stuff. And it's like, this is great. Just sitting and talking. And it was, I was booked. I was pretty booked that day. I think I had 8 that day and they're like 15 minutes. So it's quick, but I can usually get questions answered pretty quickly. And that's, no one else is doing that. No one else probably has been through what I've been through. So I've seen just about everything. So I think that's a great thing, but yes, busy. I'm busy. I'm never lacking for things to do. Let's just say that.
There you
Never
go.
bored. Maybe that was what I was saying on the bus. I want to be bored walking the dogs on the beach. But anyway,
You say that now.
When I sell teachhoops.com. Everybody has their price, baby. Everybody
has their price. And let's talk about the best shooting machine on earth is what?
Dr. Dish.
There you go.
Talked about it. $450 off, and they're great. And they have a 30-day challenge where they're giving motivational things. I'll put it in the show notes. It's really cool. I've been tweeting about it and putting it on my Facebook group and stuff too. And you just get it, and they give you a little motivational thing every day for like 30 days. It's really cool. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And so go over and check that out. All right. What's today's topic? Today's topic is end of season.
Talking about end of season preparation. We're talking game preparation, correct?
Yes. So everything.
So maybe those last 6-7 games of the season. Or is that too far?
No, I think that's about the time you should.
Because it's about 2 to 3 weeks. Because
it's shortening your list of what you're good at. Here's the biggest part with this, and we'll do another next week. We're going to do situations,
right?
But this is more end of season is more about who are we going to see in playoffs? What do we need to get good at? What are we not good at that we either got to dump or get better at in the next 3 weeks? So I think it's about the short list. Everyone comes in and has the aspirations to begin season. You should all have enough data and enough things now to know, my team, and I'm not going to dive into my team too much because someone might be listening, but that was a heads up to you. But you and I know what my team is good at X,
right, for sure.
And you also know, we just talked about, we're not very good at A, B, and C. So we are going to, a couple of the things we talked about, we're going to try to get better at, and a couple of them we're going to dump. And we're just going to pivot into these and try to, lean into the good. So I think that's something.
My question to you is, and that's a great point. And I get people thinking is that we have done podcasts about at the end of the year, we try to shorten practice. How do we do that in a way that could be effective, but not having a duration? Because in a couple of weeks, we're going to talk about sleep and health, so it's almost encompassing everything, right? Because in the end, we want to shorten practice, but we also want to get these other things in. How do we do it?
Hard. It's so hard. I sat down. So the teams we played this week, and I had 2-hour practices planned out. I go, I can't do 2-hour practices. No, we got to do all this stuff. We were playing La Folla. I knew all the stuff we needed to work on. So I made it. Here's what I did. I did a couple things. I brought up a couple JV guys. So we had 15 guys. We have 14 on our roster. So we put
less reps.
First 5, second 5, third 5.
Okay.
And I did.
Lowe's knows you take pride in every project. So take on what's next today with a free Select Craftsman hedge trimmer or leaf blower when you buy a 20-volt push mower. That's a $119 value on reliable, high-performance Craftsman tools you trust. For the power to do it all, build, repair, restore, maintain, go with Craftsman. Available at Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 5/21. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
A couple reps with top 5. Then I had to give the second 5 because you know how deep I am. I have to get them reps, and they're not getting enough reps. So I gave them a couple reps. And I had the other teams play deep, and then I rotate, and it was
a good idea. If you have those numbers,
quick, we got to talk about this. We got to, how many defenses and stuff we run. So I gotta get those top 9 or 10 reps. It's just what it is. So that was one way, and then I was able to shorten it to about an hour and a half, and then we had some film session after that. But it's I know, and we're shortening, we already dumped an offense, and we tweaked this, and we added this, and I'm not so stubborn that I won't change. There's coaches that coach we played yesterday will only play man. The coach I'm talking about.
Yes,
he only plays man. He only plays man, and he only plays 6 guys for 36 minutes.
Not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So you can be stubborn, but you're going to lose at times. He played on Thursday, played on Saturday afternoon, and there was 2 players on that court that never came off the court, and they're playing man to man. And it's not like you're not working in zones, but the movements aren't as long. They're not as far. They're not as like.
Yeah, but there's also a change in that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole
but
other
like
conversation.
when you're talking about the end of season, having those varieties of defenses, I think are a good way to end your stretch of the season. If
Right.
you're constantly running that one thing, I just had a conversation I was talking to a middle school coach and he was asking me about how can you motivate players at some point. I said, sometimes by changing defenses, it's a great way to motivate kids because it gets them in a different mindset. It almost makes like they feel like they're a coach in themselves as a player, right?
Right.
So I'm changing the scheme against them, and they like that change. Kids like change.
They do.
And sometimes when you become monotonous or you do the same thing over those last 6-7 games, I think that hinders you to get to the end of the season. I think one thing to put in consideration is how can you add a couple tweaks? How can you change a couple things, even in the course of these 6 games?
Yep.
If it doesn't work out or it works a little bit, it's worth the try. Because if you keep, like you said, you keep grinding and doing the same thing over and over, it's not a good momentum piece to get into the postseason whatsoever.
No. And it's like, it can be small tweaks to your out of bounds plays. It can be small tweaks to your quick hitters or your plays or whatever it is.
But even we're even talking man-to-man tweaks, right? If you're just strictly man-to-man, what can you do to face guard somebody? What can you do to something? It's just like you got to find ways to get creative at the end of the season in regards to your last 6-7 games.
I think the creative part is the big part.
Because and you were in a state championship many years ago against a team that never played a 2-3 zone. Am I correct? Right? Yeah. Tulsa East, right? Never, thousands and thousands of film. And guess what? They threw it on you, right? And you got to have those different things in your back pocket,
Yep.
You're always thinking several games ahead. Whether you don't tell your kids that, you really want to keep my opinion, you have your end goal, but you're really keeping your kids tight knit, ready for that next opponent. But your coaching staff and yourself are always looking ahead of what are we doing to get to that next couple games? Who's in our section? What are we doing to make ourselves better for this team? Who are their best players? You're always over preparing yourself and having those things in your back pocket because you never know when you're going to need to use them.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, it's just, yes, I like that. End of the season is about small tweaks, about understanding your team, about reading your team, about reading the opponents that are coming.
Do you think if you can play more players at the end of the season to give your players rest, or do you just continue going with the same rotation that you have all season?
No, and my team this year, it's like I'm just looking who's on.
You're deep.
I'm deep. So it's
like
lucky. I'm throwing bodies.
And
who's on, who's off.
And the nice thing about that too is that it keeps them accountable, right? So if you're not doing those things, I know that I'm competing within my program. That's what makes basketball fun for coaches. When something doesn't go right, I don't have to yell at the child. I could just say, "Oh, nope, you're in, you're out." You did it by just substituting them in.
Right.
So that's a nice thing to have, but it's not always the case.
No, it really isn't. All right. Anything else, Coach?
Nope. Good talk.
All right. Good talk. Till next week. Bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.